service. What is up, listeners? Welcome back to another episode of the Full Service Podcast. I am Tank Smith, your host. Today is episode 89. Thanks for being here. Shout out to my guests from last week, Simone Salsa. Simone, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. That was such a good time. Listener, if you have not yet, check out last week's episode. Make sure you are following Simone. She is on Twitter at Simone in Seattle. You can find her on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/onlysimone. I got links in the show notes from last week. Hit them show notes, click the link, show her some love. As always, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram at Full Service Pod. I am at Tank Funkadelic. If you enjoy the show, if you like what you're hearing in your ears, subscribe to the podcast. If you could, hit us with a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. That'll help us out so much for visibility. Write us a review. Oh boy, I love you forever, for real. If you want to support the show, the best way to do that is through our Patreon, patreon.com/fullservicepod. Each month we have at least one Patreon exclusive episode. If you want to hear that, patreon.com/fullservicepod. I mentioned it recently, probably the past 3 weeks. If you subscribe to the alcohol tier of our Patreon, you'll get a free month OnlyFans subscription, a friend of the podcast, Alexis Reynolds, Sweet Haley Grace, and Sophia Soma. All on the alcohol tier. What are you doing? Subscribe to the Patreon. Today, episode 89, I am so excited. My guest is a San Diego-based sex worker, Clover. She works as a companion. She is a content creator. She's currently on a 20-week cross-country tour. And I caught up with her a couple weeks ago when she was in Atlanta for a couple days. We discuss companionship, what goes into creating a 20-week tour. We talk about her start in sex work in New York City, why community within sex work is so vital, why porn gifts are better than porn itself, the importance of taking breaks. We talk Marvel, we talk Hawaii, we talk the future. So excited for this episode. You can find Clover on Twitter at Clover Squirts. She is on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/CloverSquirts. Her website, clovertravels.co. I'm going to stop talking. I hope you enjoy my conversation today with Clover. Welcome back, listeners. It's Tank Smith. I'm so excited for today's episode. My guest is a San Diego-based sex worker, Clover. Clover, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Stoked we can do this. This is, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Listeners, we are currently in Atlanta. We're in Atlanta. Clover, how's Atlanta treating you so far?
Pretty good. I'm actually going to be coming back next month, so
that's
nice. How good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like Atlanta. Atlanta likes me, so.
Hell yeah. Have you seen any sights, done anything fun, or is it strictly working? What's happening?
Working, pampering, seeing my friends. That's what I like to do. Go out to eat.
Nice.
I've been to Atlanta a lot, so I've seen some of the sights.
Oh, you've seen it all. If you've been to Atlanta a few times,
I've been to Atlanta 12 times.
I've seen all Atlanta has to offer, and I will be back.
Most of it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not all.
You're visiting from San Diego, right? Mm-hmm. How do you like San Diego?
I love San Diego. It's such an amazing place to be. The ocean breeze, the amazing weather all the time. Cool people. I love it.
Damn, hell yeah. I went to San Diego in 2019 for the first time. Amazing city. It's so fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I drove from LA to that drive from LA to San Diego is so beautiful.
Through the nature reserve and not Air Force. It's
there's a nuclear power plant on the way.
There's a power plant, but there's also an army base.
Okay, yeah.
Pendleton, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's like Marines.
What it is. Yeah, but it's really cool drive.
Yeah.
Then you go through all of the
beach towns.
Well, the beach towns, but also the lagoons.
Oh, okay.
Surrounding the beach towns. When I first moved to San Diego, I lived in one of those beach towns with a lagoon around it.
Man.
It was a cool place.
Damn,
yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
You're constantly on the go, traveling like all the time. Do you have any favorite places to visit?
Yeah, I can divide them up by sector if you like.
Okay.
So, favorite for the South, it would be Atlanta and Raleigh. I would say both.
Shout out to Raleigh.
I really like both. For like the North, Northeast, I'd say DC. Even though it's the cusp of that, DC is the best one.
Okay.
Midwest, Chicago, absolutely. Northwest, Seattle.
Okay. Southwest. What's happening in the Southwest?
I mean, San Diego, of course. Phoenix is also very cool. I do like Phoenix. They have a really amazing botanical garden there with like cactus, like crazy cactuses and stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll say Phoenix.
Okay.
Overseas, I really like London a lot. I also really love the Netherlands and Italy. But number one of all is Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Number one.
You were just like in Hawaii for a minute, right?
Yeah, I was there for 5 weeks.
Hey, how was Hawaii?
It's literal paradise in the middle of nowhere. So you go to Hawaii and you feel like you can just live and let all of your shit like stay back at the mainland.
Damn.
Because you are 3,000 miles in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by a few islands and then ocean. There's just nothing. It's just carefree and happy island spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Like the aloha of Hawaii is just, it really like reaches deep into you, I feel like.
Yeah.
And especially the island I was on, the Big Island, that's the one with like the volcano eruption happened a few years ago.
Oh, damn.
So that was actually a really interesting experience because I went maybe 2 or 3 months before the eruption happened to the Big Island for my first time. And then this time when I went back, I stayed in a very near area.
Okay.
So I got to see the effects of the lava. So
what was the difference?
Oh my God. So the craziest thing for me, and it took me a while to really get over this feeling. We went to these really awesome natural hot springs near this great nude beach that I love to go to. And the hot springs just barely survive the lava. So to get to the hot springs, you have to go a different route than you used to be able to because the original route is covered in lava. So to get to the hot springs, it takes a lot longer, and you actually drive through kind of like fingers of lava where lava had come down and they've cut through it and built a road so you can still get to the hot springs. But it's crazy because there's about 3 of them and you come across them and it's just like lush jungle, beautiful, like, amazing jungle. And then lava, like black, like huge, like hulking lava, and it's covered everything, and you can see so far up the lava because it's just devastated and flattened everything. So you can see for miles up the fingers of the lava, and you pass through it, and then you're in the jungle again, and you're like, wow, this place was untouched, and then you come to the lava again, it's just destroyed.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And then when you get to the hot springs, the half of the parking lot was cut off by the lava. So yeah, so you park and then there's lava like hulking above you like 15 feet. It's not small.
Jesus.
It's huge.
Well, I guess you said they like cut like roads through this lot. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And some places have more lava than others just from the flow. But it was just amazing to behold that like source of nature, like that power.
Yeah, I feel like nobody, like that's one of the things that nobody really gets to see is like just the volcanic eruption.
Just the raw power of the earth.
Because you can't do shit about that. Like
no, like but it's very, in Hawaii it's very slow moving lava, so they have a saying, the lava is coming, walk for your lives.
That's funny. It's like winter's coming.
Yeah, you know, like the lava's coming. Your house is gonna get destroyed, but you have enough time to leave. So there, nobody ever dies from the lava.
Well, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better.
It's just stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's a little hot.
It
rocks
sucks,
falling.
but yeah, no, it's not that dramatic. It's very chill for lava.
So I've never been to Hawaii, you know, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. If there's one thing, if I could only do one thing when I go to Hawaii, what What do you suggest that I do?
God, only one thing?
I can only do one thing.
That's hard.
I'm teleporting there. I have 5 hours. I'm teleporting back. What am I doing in those 5 hours while I'm there?
Well, do you want the tourist version or what I think you should do version?
I want to know what you think that I should do.
What I think you should do is go to the Big Island and see the Big Island because it has the most amazing variety of biomes there. You can see so many different microclimates, so many different environments, so many different animals. Like,
man,
it's really cool. But I should also say, for the tourist reasons, you would go to Oahu, which is one of the more northern islands.
Okay,
and that's where like Pearl Harbor was, and
okay.
you see more of the typical like Hawaii looking with the green jagged
like big ass mountains.
Yeah,
like the Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that would be Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the blue water. Hawaii is like wild because it's lava. It's like all this crazy stuff going on. Damn. Oahu is more like family friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Big Island's the move.
Yeah, Big Island is the underrated treasure.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Because on one side you have the rainforest, and the other side you have the beach, and you have everything else too.
Yeah. So you got everything on Big Island.
Everything. Almost everything.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you are currently on like a 20-week tour across the country. Mm-hmm. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited about these next 20 weeks?
Definitely to see a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time. See a lot of people in general that I haven't seen in a long time. Clients as well, because clients are sometimes friends.
shout out to the clients. Hey.
I'm also very interested just to see how much this country has changed since COVID, because I've traveled this country a lot over the last 8 years. I've been to every major city and almost every minor city. I've done a lot of road trips, and it's already been interesting about the differences. Yeah, just seeing the country as what it is now.
Oh yeah. What kind of, like, I feel like that has to be like 20 weeks, I feel like is a pretty serious, like, undertaking. What kind of planning, like, how do you plan that kind of trip? Like, how does, what goes, like, are you kind of going, like, based on, like, where you want to go, like, to cities? Like, is it where clients are, where people you know are? Like, what kind of planning, I guess, goes into that?
So as in the question I just answered, I have been doing this traveling for a really long time. So fortunately, I have a lot of this knowledge, like of how to do this stuff already. It is just a lot of planning, like a lot of thinking. What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And also understanding my own limits in this, because I am doing, at least for the first part, I've done this journey on my own. I do have a few friends joining me for parts.
Oh, nice.
Later on, but this beginning stretch has been all on my own, which has been awesome. I've never done something like this on my own, only with a partner. But because I have been to all these places, most all of these places, I am going to a few new places in the middle of nowhere. So
hell yeah, the middle of the nowhere gets Clover. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm like Montana, and
ooh, nice.
Yeah, I have been to Montana once about 7 years ago, and I've been dreaming of going back. So I'm really excited to see it again. It's beautiful land.
You going to Yellowstone?
I don't know, maybe. It's going to be crazy busy this summer camping, I've heard, so...
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know.
I'm sure with COVID over, people are like, we're going to Yellowstone.
Yeah, a lot of places are booked out for the summer already. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, but we'll see.
Fuck yeah.
To plan for this, I pretty much just, like, look at a map, and I go, okay, where do I want to go? How long is the distance going to be between each city? How long can I feasibly drive per day? Do I need to stop in the middle? Can I make it the whole way? If I do need to stop, is there somewhere else, like a city that I can go to or that I want to go to? Also, I've been able to be pretty flexible with this, which is nice. So I got to stay in Denver for a few days because I wasn't feeling so well. Yeah, and I like the flexibility. That wasn't a part of the question, but...
No, I mean, that has to be nice. We're like, it's not so rigid. You're like just doing like, hey, we're just out here fucking traveling. We'll see what the fuck happens. But you just know where you're kind of going, but I'm sure that flexibility is nice.
And it's nice because I don't have to pay rent, so it doesn't matter, like, when I get back.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Free out here.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What's something you're passionate about?
I'm passionate about a lot of things. Passionate about nerdy stuff. Like, I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Okay.
Huge Marvel fan. Marvel is way better than DC. I just gotta put that out there. Sorry, DC lovers.
Yeah.
DC is so black and white. Don't even get me started.
Some enemies. Create some enemies on the planet.
We can discuss this in length. I really
Do you
enjoy
have
it.
a favorite? Do you have a favorite Marvel movie?
Movie? Gosh, I would say Infinity War. I actually saw that in Atlanta.
Okay.
Funnily enough, I was here in Atlanta, and nobody wanted to go to the movies with me because my friends aren't as big of a nerd here as I am. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. I like to go on opening night. So I went on opening night by myself.
That's why they didn't want to go. You
yeah.
did
I wanted to go on opening night. And I went by myself, and it was an awesome experience just to be in the theater with it. But Infinity Wars, I didn't really know much about it before it came out, and I talked mad shit. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a crossover episode. It's just gonna be stupid. But it blew me away. Like, it was a film that just kind of like I wasn't ready for. I wasn't expecting.
Is that the one where they all float away at the end?
Yeah, they all die.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and well, it's not just, I mean, that was definitely a part of it, but it starts out, and if anyone has not heard this, spoiler alert, it starts out with the death of Loki, who is a pretty major character, and it's within like the first 10 minutes of the film, and you're just like, what?
Is he dead forever? Is he come back? Or is he dead forever?
Well, they're doing like multiverse stuff now. So in Endgame, in the next movie after Infinity War, they go back in time and get the Infinity Stones, which Thanos destroyed in Infinity War. Or, well, technically in the beginning of Endgame, but they get the stones back and therefore splitting the timelines.
Okay.
So Loki escapes in a different timeline during a situation where he was hostage. So now there's like an alternative timeline Loki, which they're actually coming about with the show in a few months.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
So much is happening.
So much. Yeah.
I feel like I saw, like Hulk. Mm-hmm. Saw that one. And
that was a while ago, man.
I'm talking Eric Bana Hulk,
like that's technically Marvel, but not in the MCU.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about the MCU, I guess.
Okay.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
R.I.P. Stan Lee. He's gone too soon, I guess. I don't.
He was 90s. He's old. That's fine. Anyone who dies after 90, I'm like, you lived a good life. You're fine.
Real talk. That's
can't be sad.
Hell yeah. Well, Clover, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. So I feel like I always try to start at the beginning, like how you started your sex work journey. Do you feel like you can remember your first exposure to sex work at all?
Oh, yeah. My origin story.
The origin story.
Yeah. So I was living in New York City. I had just left a partner I had been with for a long time. And I was working as a barista at Starbucks for a while, which paid shit. And I was living in a room with my best friend in a 3-bedroom apartment. I lived with 2 other people, so there was 4 of us in the apartment, and me and my best friend paid $500 a month each to live in this room.
Fucking New York City. New York City.
Yeah, but the pay was so bad at Starbucks that I could either choose to pay rent or eat. So I paid rent, and after I left my former partner, I was just like, I'm at this job that I really hate. I should just change it up. I should just leave this job. I don't know what's going to happen to me in life, but I should leave it. So I left it, and I did like a few things that didn't really work out, and I needed a job. So I went on Craigslist, and I found an ad for a massage parlor.
Oh, okay.
So I went to this massage parlor in the Lower East Side, and I walked in for the interview. And the older lady, the madam, she interviewed me, and she was like, she told me something that I won't forget. But at the time, I had no fucking clue what she was talking about. She looked at me and she said, "You could be a high-end escort." And I'm like, okay, do I have the job? Like,
Yeah.
I gotta pay my rent. I don't know what that means, but cool. And she was right. I mean,
How was it working at the massage parlor?
it was definitely a learning experience. There were some downsides and some plus sides. It really showed me how much men wanted to fuck me because I had only worked there for maybe 4 months before I moved into full service. And God, the turning point for me was like, I made $2,000 one day, but I actually only got to take home $1,000 because I took 50%. And about that time, I'm thinking, well, that's not right. They provide me with a place. Yes. They provide me supplies. Yes. They should definitely take some cut. But 50%, like,
that's a lot.
I'm doing all the other work. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
30% I could fuck with, but 50, oof. So I met another provider who was a full-fledged escort, and after talking with her, I became an escort. And she toured a lot, so I learned how to tour.
Okay,
and started that way. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the most important thing you learned was starting out? Maybe in the massage parlor, maybe in escorting. Do you have a most important thing you learned starting out?
Yeah, trust your gut. I have like this. It's like a thought that comes in my head, but like a premonition thought, like that 95% of the time is right. I don't know. I almost always know when people no call, no show me. And it'll just be this thought that pops in my head. Like, they're not going to show up.
And then they don't show up.
And they don't show up. And I've really learned to trust that. Like,
yeah. My buddy, so he's like, one of the things that he's like, women's intuition is like a serious, like y'all know things that we don't know. Y'all just be able to just know shit. I don't know.
The wildest thing for me was I had this client that I met and I got along with really well. But when I met him, I just knew I would see him for only 1 year. And so I would see him for like several hours every time I visited his city. And then 1 year later, I was supposed to see him and he was like, "I'm sorry, I'm sick." And I never heard from him again. He died.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, how did I know? 1 year. Like, what the fuck?
What's funny, because when you said that 1 year thing, I was like, oh, did he die?
He died.
Oh, shit.
If there was nothing that would have, like he wasn't sick. Like, I mean, he was older, but he wasn't, like, sick. And, yeah, it was so fucking weird.
I don't want to know what you think about me.
It's not... I wish I could summon it, but it's, like, unbidden.
Yeah. Wild. Do you feel like within sex work it's like beneficial to have someone you can talk to about your job?
Absolutely. Community is so key. Like, when I first started, I had a bad experience with somebody early on, another provider, and I didn't talk to anyone for about a year. Like, I didn't make any friends in the industry, and I got really lonely.
Yeah.
And after that year, I made a Twitter account, and I started reaching out to people, and that just snowballed to now where I know a lot of people in the industry, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because there are so many people in this industry that are so different and have so many different things to offer to each other. So while I'm good at a lot of things and I can help my friends out at some things, I have friends that are good at things where I am just like a complete noob.
Yeah.
And if I need that help, I can go to them and they can come to me if they need the help that I can provide.
Yeah.
So the sense of community for sex workers especially is very important and needs to be something that's protected.
Yeah. I always related to comedy a little bit, because where I was like, if I have a comedy related problem, I feel like I want to talk to another comedian because they get what the fuck I'm going through. Like, if I could explain this to one of my other friends and they're like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you know, I don't fully get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
To where it's like, have somebody that's like does what you do. They're like, oh, I completely understand. I've had that experience before, and it's like just like that, being able to fucking share, I feel like would have to be a positive thing all the time.
It's absolutely is. I was actually talking with my friend about this earlier today, who's here in Atlanta. Shout out to her, Ava Raleigh.
Shut up.
I was talking with Ava about how we don't really have any forums for us, like private forums that are easily accessible for sex workers. You have little groups, you have Telegram groups, you have Twitter groups, and whatever, but they're small groups, and the threads, it can be hard to follow things because it's linear.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you have real, like, Reddit, you can actually, like, see the different comment threads and read through things, and we just don't have a platform for ourselves, really.
I was gonna say Reddit, but there's like still, it's like anybody. I could comment on whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I have an account on Reddit. I'm a longtime Redditor, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not a forum for us.
Yeah.
For the.
What do you think?
Hookers.
What do you think? What do you think it would take to make that happen? Like, do you think it's possible?
I feel like it is possible. It would take people with knowledge of how to set that up.
Yeah.
And where to set that up.
Yeah.
Because of all the bullshit laws we have now. I definitely think it is possible.
I wonder if Swap were to do some shit like that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be really amazing.
I feel like that could be, because they have the money. They have the money to
the resources.
To create something like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you feel like in companionship, do you feel like you have an average clientele that comes to see you?
No, I really don't. I mean, I see people of all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, abilities. I couldn't say that I have a one type fits all kind of client, or even just a regular type. I really like the variety, to be honest, because I feel like one type of client would be very boring. But instead, I get to meet a lot of people who do a lot of things, and
hell yeah,
yeah.
Do you feel like, for the most part, or not even for the most part, do you feel like when people reach out to you, they know what they're doing when they hit you up to book you?
These days, I feel like yes.
Nice.
Because I'm well established. Most people, I would say like 60%, which is a good number for this industry.
That's high.
Yeah. I feel like these days, yes.
Hell yeah. So, OnlyFans. You're huge on you got OnlyFans, killing the game on OnlyFans.
Thank you.
How long have you had OnlyFans?
I got it last April during the Panini. Yeah, I mean, I've known about it. I had people say, "Oh, you should do it," and I've just been like, I don't know, I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. I got other stuff to do. But then the pandemic hit, and everything I was like, well, I'm lazy about that. I'm like, well, now I don't have things to do, and I actually have time, so I should do those things, right? So I started an OnlyFans, I started filming and producing, and it's been great. I have someone now, an assistant, who helps me with the posts, because I'm honestly terrible at being a regular poster, but I give her all the content, and
hell yeah.
She makes the postings, and sometimes I'll put something in there myself, but yeah.
How do you like it? How do you like OnlyFans?
I like it. I saw a lot of videos through there. I give a discount on my OnlyFans for my videos, so it's better to buy through there than ManyVids.
Okay, so if you're subscribed to OnlyFans, you get a cheaper price than on there. Okay.
Yeah, and also it's I don't know, people just like to buy videos on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's happening. It's great. Yeah. Do you have any favorite content that you filmed?
Oh, for sure. One of my favorite ones that I've filmed artistically and for the content is one with another provider whom I used to live with. Her name's Althea Adair. Okay. She's in San Diego. Shout out to Althea. She's amazing. So this video that we made, the premise, so I had been doing this little porn series, air quotes, called Mean Roommate, where I am the mean roommate, and I haze these women who are my quote unquote roommates. For some reason or another, they didn't do the dishes.
Yeah.
This particular one, she brought home a man the night before and fucked him really loudly at night, and I was pissed about that. So she comes in, and I'm all upset with her, and she's like, I'm sorry, you can do it, like, I'll do whatever you like. And I'm like, great, that's what I'd like to hear. Yeah. And I just bring up my strap on, and I, like, make her suck it, and I fuck her, and, like, I'm just talking shit the whole time. Like now you'll know better than to bring him home and not invite me. Like, and I'm fucking her. It's a really hot video. Yeah. She's gorgeous. It's also very fun to make. That one's definitely one of my favorites. I just love the story.
Who came up with the story?
Me.
Whose idea was okay?
Me. Definitely me.
How is it like, just like, you have an idea and you're like, I think I can do this, and then like being able to put it into action and like film it and then like edit it? How is it like seeing that final product from an idea? How's that?
Well, it can be either very satisfying or frustrating because I'm a perfectionist. So if there's little things wrong with video, like, oh, my head got cut off a little bit, oh, the lighting's not right, oh, the angle, like, yeah. I'll just be like, when I'm doing it. But honestly, most of the time it's absolutely fine and nobody notices besides me. But I'm like, oh, this must be what I want it to be.
Have you ever shot anything and you're like, I can't use it, it's done, it's bad?
No. No, I've been both in and behind the camera since a very young age.
Okay.
So I was a child model, ridiculously enough. I used to do theater, all this other stuff. Like, I did film photography for a little bit. Like, I have a pretty good understanding of this stuff. Even the ones that I were like medium quality, I still sell them.
Yeah.
I actually put them at a discount rate, and I say because it's medium quality, and they sell all the time. People love them. So
they're like, you know what? I think I prefer the medium quality.
Some people do. They like that, and I'm like, no, I want high def. I want exact lighting so that I can see that beautiful pussy.
You said you did theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything you've acted in?
Oh, just
a play?
Yeah, definitely. In college and in high school, I've been in a few.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of plays. I like a good play.
I was very good at covering for other people's asses when they forgot lines. So it's probably why I'm good with making porn, because I'm very good at improvising in porn.
Yeah.
Usually I'll come up with like a theme for the video, and I'll kind of like block it out, like, okay, this is where I'm going to come in. Here's how you're going to be. This is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of say this and move on to that. So I'll kind of like go through that with people.
Oh, director shit going on.
Yeah, man. I'm really intricate.
Hey, hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that with my photo shoots too. But it's part of the fun for me doing all of that with it. Because I have this idea and I want it to come out how I want it to be portrayed. So...
Do you feel like, so after like doing all this, like, do you like ever watch porn and you're like, does it ruin porn a little bit? Or like, you're like seeing things and you're like, what the fuck is this angle? This is a professional goddamn company and you can't even get the angle. What the fuck is, like,
yes, absolutely. But to be honest, I've always been like that with porn. Porn for me, it's really hard for me to watch porn videos because like the sounds, oh god, some of these people, I just can't. I'm like, you're gonna ruin my nut. Like, I can't. So I look at GIFs.
Okay.
I like porn GIFs because I look for a specific moment or like thing happening that I really like, and there's no sound. There's like, that's what I watch.
Okay, it's the GIFs.
I know, it's funny.
You got this thing on repeat. This is look at the best scene.
Yes, I want that cum shot on repeat. I just want to see over.
That's funny. That's great. Where can people find your work?
You can find all of my stuff on link.tree/Clover Squirts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all my links.
All the links for the vids.
Yeah, there's ManyVids, there's OnlyFans, I got Twitter, I got Reddit, I got I think that's all I got.
So this is kind of goes back to the video editing and stuff. Do you ever find it because I'll do stand up and one of the hardest parts about doing is listening to myself. On stage, listening to a set.
Mm-hmm.
Does it ever watching yourself back on camera or editing it? Is that hard at all for you? Or you're you're able to separate it to where it's I'm just watching this person. It just happens to be me. Is it hard editing yourself at all?
No, it doesn't really bother me editing myself. I find myself laughing at it a lot because I like to do a lot of humor in my porn.
Nice.
So I've been actually saving these clips from my videos that are bloopers. So I plan on doing a compilation of the bloopers when I have enough.
See, that's what you don't see anymore.
Yeah.
In general, they used to have so many just good blooper videos, and now there's no blooper vid. I feel I'm gonna. You tell me
it's gonna be free, actually. So I feel like that deserves to be seen by the world.
That'd be great. Do you feel do you ever have clients that found you first through online work and then book you? Does that ever happen?
Oh, all the time. I think I've only had referrals by a handful of people. I'd say 99% of my clients find me online. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Twitter is a big one.
How do you like Twitter?
I have mixed feelings about Twitter. I used to really love Twitter because it was a place, an outlet for us where we could be ourselves. We could just unabashedly be prostitutes, and it was fine. But in the last few years, with Sesta Fosta and everything changing, they've rewritten their shadow banning stuff, and it's such a clusterfuck. It's so annoying, but it's still a useful tool. So I still use it, and I will continue to still use it until they really decide to kick us off, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Hopefully, but you know how things go.
Shit just shrinks
Yep.
every single year. Yeah. Do you feel so I've seen this on Twitter. It usually happens at the beginning of every year to where Twitter's cracking down, no more nudity on these posts, and then of course I guess nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Do you think is that a thing? Does Twitter crack down on nudity like that, or?
So what they've done is it must be an algorithm, because if you post nudes and you're not engaging in engagement groups where they boost your stuff, retweet and all that, if you're not in those groups, you will notice a significant decrease in interaction with your posts. Yeah. So nudity is still allowed, but they're shadow banning it.
Oh, okay.
So they're making it harder to find.
Yeah.
There are ways to circumvent that. So
what do you like most about companionship?
I like being able to meet all of the different amazing people that I have met. The human experience of it. Sex work is how I describe it to people who are civilians. I like to say it's a very human experience, a very human thing, because for a lot of people, it's not about sex. It's about being yourself with somebody. It's about basic human intimacy. It's about touch, being held. There's these basic, simple things that we as humans need in society, but not a lot of people get or have access to freely.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the one. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, no, that's 100%. People, a lot of people just think, hey, it's solely a sex thing, but there's so many fucking more. It's so much deeper than that. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I would say sex is only really about 30 to 40% of what I do.
What do you like most about online sex work? Creating content?
I like the revenues, the repeatedness, getting stuff from videos every month. I like the money.
Hell yeah.
That's why I hired an assistant.
That's what I like most about my job too. It's just the money.
The money is good.
That's all.
I mean, it's a good supplement.
Yeah. Do you prefer one to the other? Do you like in person better, online better? What's the preference?
I definitely prefer in person. I'm I don't know. I like to be present with people, look them in the eyes,
Yeah.
have like a real conversation, feel their energy, be with them, and it's kind of hard to do that online. I'm grateful we have online to make do with the events of the last year, but I 100% prefer in person.
Look, yeah. Like, I feel like not every day at work is going to be like a good day,
Mhm.
right? What are some maybe like challenges or frustrations you have within your job?
You know, it's kind of funny. A lot of the things that are challenging and frustrating for me in my job are very synonymous with jobs in the service industry.
Okay.
So I frequently find myself venting to like, my hairdresser or my massage therapist, and they're like, "Oh yeah, people do that to me too."
Yeah.
Like, canceling last minute, showing up like smelly and dirty and gross,
Yeah.
or stuff like that. For sex work, I feel like a lot of it is just weeding out the bullshit before you get to the real gems.
Okay.
That's probably the most annoying thing. Just all the inquiries like, "Hey, baby, you avail?" Or just stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you feel like are some misconceptions that people might have about sex work that you found to be false?
The biggest thing for me with that is people's sense of my bodily autonomy.
Okay.
They think that because I am in sex work, I sell my body, right? Really, I'm just renting it for a bit. Like, you can touch this and taste it for a little while, but it's not yours. I get it. It's mine.
Yeah.
Like, sex work helped me be more confident, more like not dominant, but like assertive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's helped me be more assertive with things, especially with things like I don't want people to do or I don't like people doing.
Okay.
I have a much better voice for that. Like, before I got in this industry, I had been in many sexual situations where I didn't really want to be there, but I also didn't have the voice to say no, or so I just, let it happen. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Wasn't traumatizing, but I just let it happen. And now I'll be like, "No, I don't like this. Do this instead."
Yeah.
It gave me that voice.
I do like how you have on your website, you have a list of things you're like, "No, I don't like this."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yes, I like this. I feel like it's cool. Like,
I've really liked that over the years too, because it enables people to find me, and I know most people who find me are gonna get along with me because they're not like, "Oh, nipple sucking is a must for me." I'm like, "Well, sorry, you can't fucking touch them. Like, don't even look at them. Like,
avert your
off
eyes.
limits." They're angry. They're very angry nipples. I don't know what's wrong with them.
I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, like before the podcast. How do you feel about the word prostitute?
I love the word prostitute. I love the word hooker. I love the word whore. I have no problems with being described as any of those, and will frequently describe myself as them. I'm not the kind of person that's offended by things easily. Very nonchalant, very easygoing. And I feel like prostitute, just like any other perceived slur word, can be used by the group who's being called prostitute as a way to take it back. Like, yes, I am a prostitute. That is what I do. I have sex for money. Is what it is. It's like when people try to role play with me and call me a whore, and I'm like, yes, I am a whore. Your point? Yeah, that's true. I embrace it. Maybe in the beginning I had some shame about it, but I've been a sex worker for 8 years now, and I'm a prostitute. Yeah. Unabashed prostitute.
That's the name of the episode.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Does burnout ever happen for you?
Oh, for sure. I'm the kind of person like work hard, play hard. So I'll work really hard for like a few months, and then I will fuck off for a few months, and I will go to Europe or Hawaii or wherever and just decompress and take vacation. And and completely disconnect from work.
Do you feel like that's vital to have that time to where you like take time to yourself? Is that like, yeah, vital to self-care, I guess?
Oh, absolutely. I like I said, I've been in this for 8 years, so I've known many hookers who have quit because they worked for a year or two or 3. Nobody ever makes it past 3 if they don't take breaks. And they don't take breaks. And they just combust inside. Like like I said earlier, this job is a very human one. And with that human job, you get all the emotions and energy from other people. And if you're constantly getting that through and not releasing it, clearing yourself out, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna have a bad time. So I have given people advice before, like, oh, you feel burnt out? Take a break immediately. If you are in a financial place to do it, do it. If you need to work a little bit more so you can be in a place, okay, do that, but set a date for yourself so you know, okay, I gotta work X amount of time more, and then I'm on my break.
Yeah.
Like, give yourself that, because this is not worth it if you're just gonna, like, kill yourself over it.
Yeah. Do you feel like since starting sex work, how you view yourself, has that changed?
It has in some ways. I feel like a stronger person because of sex work, and I feel like my constitution is, as a human being, is more evolved.
Okay.
Just through all my experiences with people and talking to people and being with so many different people, it's really enlightened me to a lot of different like humans, different ways of living, different ways of being. Like growing up, like a lot of people had morals ingrained in me, right? Like sex before marriage is bad. Cheating is bad. All these things are bad. Like being a slut is bad. Being yourself is not bad. If you like, well, before I was a whore, I was a slut, naturally, and like that's not bad. That's a good thing, and I learned that I could harness what I was good at. So when I was young, I never thought that I was good at, like, I would never amount to be anything. I didn't have a direction in life. I didn't know where I was going. Didn't know what I was doing, just bouncing around from, like, different things. But when I got into sex work, I really felt like this is what I'm supposed to do in life. This is what I'm here for. This is my career. This is my passion. Because it's not just about providing sex to people. It's therapy. It's helping them through things sexually or emotionally or just being there for them. It's also fun. Like, it's also a great fucking time most of the time. Yeah. And yeah. So for me, sex work really showed me that I have worth in society. And I actually have a lot of value and I can contribute, even though my skills are not traditional.
But they're great, though.
Thank you.
They're great, though.
Yeah.
How long do you see yourself in sex work?
I'm going to be one of those old grannies that pulls out their teeth and give blowjobs. Yeah.
Yes!
Come see me when I lose all my teeth.
The people are
Get
cheering.
a gum job. Yeah, I don't have an end game. This is my career.
Hell yeah. Do you have a thing, like, if you could do one thing, like, do you have a, like, I would do this one thing if I could do it. Like, what would you do if you could do anything, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I feel like in another life I would have been a florist or a botanist.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like plants and flowers. I don't really grow them, so I'd probably more a florist, just arrange them. Yeah. I like to arrange them and look at flowers.
Oh yeah.
I have like thousands of photos of plants on my phone. In another life, yeah.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, did you want to leave the people on any kind of like sex work related story you got for the people? Is there a story?
Sure. So, I saw this guy one time in Boston, and he wore goggles.
Like swimming goggles.
Yes. Like the little one, not the one with a nose piece, thank God. I think I would have lost my shit if he one with a nose piece. But those little swimming goggles, he brought them because I'm a squirter, and I guess he wanted to protect his eyes, which legit, but it doesn't go in your eyes unless they sit on your face, and we can avoid doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it was so tough for me because I tried so hard not to laugh my ass off the entire session.
Was it the whole time? He had him on the whole time?
When he was eating me out, he had goggles on his face.
He's like, I just want to be ready. I've heard the stories.
Yes. I mean, that, oh gosh. I get it. People have equated it to being waterboarded, but...
Yeah.
Please leave the goggles at home.
That's great. What if you had a snorkel on the side?
Oh God. Get some air while he's down there.
Yeah. I feel like it would be I would be laughing. I'd be like,
oh.
But I guess it's so sweet. It's just like, oh, well.
Thankfully, I'm really good at keeping face due to my theater days.
Yeah.
But trust me, it was hard.
I feel like you come out of the bathroom with there's nothing but goggles, and he's like, "I'm ready."
Just dick out, goggles on. Yeah. I feel like a little bit of PTSD from. I had this client joke with me recently about wearing goggles, and I was like, "No, not again."
I think it's like because it's like you you might have like a. Like, you know, some people wear goggles and they have the imprint on their face, like, after. And they just get home. And they're like, honey, what's on your...
Why
happened
are
to your
you wearing goggles? Oh, I went to swim. I got drowned.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Please don't bring goggles. It's okay.
Yeah. You're a professional. You're like...
We can avoid getting in your eyes if I don't sit on your face. It might happen if I sit on your face. It might. I can't control it there. But... You know, otherwise you should be okay.
Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, you want to plug any social media for the people, or where can they find you? I know you plugged the Linktree earlier, but you got any Twitter, anything you want to tell the people where they can follow you?
Well, Twitter is volatile bitch, so I'll give you my website.
Okay.
Clovertravels.co.
Clovertravels.co. People, go to the website right now. I know you're driving. Click. Still do it. Hey. Man, Clover, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Tank.
Yeah. Listeners, we will be back later. That was my interview with Clover. Yo, shout out Clover. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. That was so much fun. Listeners, she just plugged at her website, clovertravels.co. You can also find her on Twitter at CloverSquirts. Her OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/CloverSquirts. I have links in the show notes from this week. Hit those show notes. Click the links. Do the thing. Show her some love. As always, you can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, at FullServicePod. I am at TankFunkadelic. If you enjoy the show, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. You'll be alerted as soon as those new episodes drop every single Tuesday. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, if you want to hear anything talked about on the podcast, if you just want to send us an email, let us know what you think. FullServicePod@gmail.com. I mention this like every week. Ratings and reviews help so much for visibility for the show. So if you can, hit us with a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Write us a review. Send me a screenshot. I will send you a sticker and love you forever. I don't know what's worth more, my undying love or a sticker. But if you write a review, hey, you'll have both. This has been episode 89. I appreciate you being here. What's happening next week? Oh boy, I'm feeling a solo coming on. I haven't done one in like 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, I feel like that's what's happening. But hey, subscribe to Twitter and you will find out. Follow us. We're at Full Service Pod. I already said it, but I'm saying it again. Hey, that's all she wrote. I appreciate you being here. We'll be back on Tuesday. Hope everything is good wherever you are currently located. I'll see you on Tuesday. Later. service.